Hi folks, hope you're doing well. This video is sort of an, I don't know, sort of an update, but not an update, if you know what I mean. Well, you don't, because you're not in my head, I guess. An addition, I suppose, to a few of the videos I've done recently. I did one recently about where the male students were asked to apologise for sexual abuse and rape. Well, there's a video on Talk Radio of a parent supposedly furious after her son, and this woman is not furious in any way, shape or form. No. She looks barely annoyed by it. Now, I would have thought any parent would be completely and utterly outraged that their son was made to feel like they are a rapist. Yeah, their 12-year-old son could be made to feel like that. That the school would sanction this. The school that's designed to, it's supposed to be protecting their children, educating them. Instead, it's going down this incredibly leftist way, where it's leftist perversion, really. Well, as I said before, all women are innocent and all men are nasty, vile creatures. Sorry, not all women are innocent, not all men are nasty, vile creatures. I've known a few women that are nasty, vile creatures. As many as I've known men, really. And that's the reality. Yeah, men and women are equally as good and equally as bad. Just watched the video just then. It was good point. It was Abba and Preach. There was a video going of claiming that this man, I think Abba or something, tried to attack his ex-girlfriend when they were going together. But that actually she swung at him and she grabbed hold of his bags as he was trying to leave. He just basically pulled his bags away from her and she fell over. And what are people saying? That he attacked her. Nothing about her swinging at him, nothing about her being the instigator all the way through, nothing about her just falling over. Yeah. Nobody wants to know the truth of it. Not the news networks. They don't want to know that at all. What they want to do is have an agenda and have their reporting support the agenda that they wish to have. That's the purpose of it. That's the whole point of it. That's what they want to do. It's like, okay. With that being the case, you've got to say it's all complete nonsense, isn't it, really? It's all utterly and totally insane. As I say, there are people, good, bad, and ugly. Men, women. Yeah. That are good, bad, and dumb or ugly. In their personalities, not their looks, their personalities. Right. And I was watching one that was for a woman. And she was interviewing a woman she'd interviewed before, and where this woman was talking about the fact that she liked a man for about 11 years and never really spoke to him about it, never really confessed her feelings. Well, she did finally. Well, he sort of felt the same way towards her, but he didn't really want a relationship. Well, this woman, attractive lady, very attractive lady, Sarah Heywood. Beautiful woman. She's just started her own YouTube channel. Comes across as a very lovely lady. But in that interview, in that talk together with Flora and her, she then started talking about the fact that she's into horoscopes and she was trying to guess Flora's sign. And she used all the tricks in the book, all the usual ones. Yeah, it started up saying, "I think you're probably an earth sign." Then looking for a reaction. When she saw a smile, okay, earth sign. I think you're either Libra, Leo, or Taurus, or Capricorn, or whatever the third one she said. Again, she was looking for reaction. When she said Leo, Flora smiled. Her smile got a tiny bit different. Her eyes, you could see. So I knew as soon as she said Leo, she's a Leo. There you go. She responded to that. She basically said yes in her body language. And then the woman said, "Okay, you're a Leo." And then Flora went, "How did you know that? That's amazing." No, it isn't. It isn't. It's the utter, total stupidity that these people do. They use tricks. They look at body language to see how you respond. Because generally speaking, when someone is questioning you and trying to find out an answer, they look to see how you react. It's the same way as the police do things. Certainly if you're open, they try and trap you in your own body language. So lying is very difficult if you're being open with someone, if you're being talky, which is why you're advised never speak to the police. Never speak to the police. Because even if you're innocent, they'll ask you questions. I've done videos about that, about the fact that, when the experts on police were saying, you're arrested because there was an assault on someone in a certain area, the police start asking you, what do you know about that? And you say, well, you never met the person. The police ask you, have you ever been in that area? And you initially say no. And then they find out you were in that area. So through questioning, you're open with them. Then you eventually tell them that, yes, you were in that area a few hours before the assault happened. Well, there you go. Opportunity. Then they find out that you're an acquaintance of that person. So through knowing the acquaintance, you could actually have known that person. You could have met them. So they get you to admit that, yes, you could have met them. So where you earlier said you never met them, you've never met them at all. Now, you've trapped yourself because they're looking at your body language and they know, hold it. As they're talking to you, they start to see where you look uncomfortable. They start to see where you look cocky or whatever. And this lady, Sarah Heywood, she just used that. I wish I will. I do. I mean, I don't know how old she is. I imagine early 30s, I would guess. I guess early 30s. Beautiful lady, I say. Very good looking, lovely smile. Really, really lovely smile. Yeah. I think she's got a few videos on her channel, but not many right now. She's got a few hundred subscribers. So, I wish I will. I really do. Right, the other thing I need to add a bit to is the videos I was doing about Matthew 7:1-2. I hadn't quite made one point very, very clear. Tried to make it clear because I said about the point of you can pay and then you can continue your life the same way you were before and you can still go to hell. I made that point. The point I didn't make is that if you pay for those sins that you have to pay for, it now just means you don't have to pay for your sins anymore. You don't have to. Another slight add on to Matthew 7 situation or videos is that, as I said in those ones, people can claim that, they weren't warned. But I've certainly made loads of videos talking about stuff like that. And then many other people have as well. the internet's full of them. So if you wanted warning, if you wanted to know, you could have found out. Yeah, I mean, how many videos have I done about consequences and about seed sowing and bearing fruit? Basically, that and consequences goes together. So I've spoken about all of that. So, of course, if you've fallen foul of Matthew 7, 1-2, fallen foul basically means if you've gone against that, and if you now have to be held accountable, but then you've had chances to make that right in the past, but chosen not to. Simple as that. And the chances you've had, you're going to be shown them on your day of judgment. Certainly, if you start whinging to God, you never had an opportunity to do what's right. God's going to show you all the opportunities you had to do what was right and to amend your behaviour, to learn from it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Indeed. I mean, the reality is, yeah. This is all about, really, Matthew 7 is about seed and fruit. Because Matthew 7, 1-2 basically says, if you sow this seed of judging someone in a certain way, you'll be judged in the same way. And when the measure you used, again, sowing a seed, will be measured back to you. That's going to come back and bear fruit. But fruit against you. So, the sowing seeds, bearing fruit, is there? Consequences is there? Certainly those two scriptures are talking very much about that. And I would say there are so many areas of scriptures that talk about consequences of behaviour. You need to look into it. If you're someone who will quite happily do things against Matthew 7, 1-2, then you really should start studying the Word of God. To make sure you don't fall foul of other areas of importance where the consequences could be incredibly great. Well, I mean, look, people don't think enough about even their own life here on Earth. So they certainly aren't going to think about the life after. No. No. But when you start to think about how incredibly fragile life really is, well, even now we're in a COVID situation, which is showing life has been incredibly fragile. But in a minute, I'm going to be talking about National Star Centre, which was a place I was in the past. And so many of the residents there were incredibly fragile, and their lives really were incredibly fragile. And so when you start looking at that and thinking about that, but then you have to start thinking about the eternal, because life in this world can be so incredibly short and can be over with in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds. Certainly, if you drive a vehicle, or if you have, put it this way, how many people have got unknown conditions? Conditions with their heart or whatever that they just don't know about it. They may be carrying an extra, I wouldn't be so stupid to say a few pounds, because that's the stupidity that people suggest that someone who is either obese or nearly obese is simply carrying a few extra pounds. No, they're not. They're carrying a few extra stone. Or kilograms. They're carrying way too many kilograms extra. It's not pounds that's the problem. It's the kilograms and the stones that they're carrying extra. Yeah. An extra 5 stone in body weight? It's not a lot, is it? It's what, 25 kilograms? Not very much, is it really? Not when you talk about extra weight. You know, it's easy to get to the 5 stone. So carrying around a 10-year-old every day, all day, in everything you do. Yeah, if you drive your car. You're driving your car on roads that are often pretty packed with other cars. All it needs is either for one of your tyres to go bang, which can happen quite easily, or a driver in front of you for their tyres to go bang. They swerve a bit, that means the car's coming towards you. They swerve, and Jesus Christ, anything can bloody happen. You've got to start thinking about what comes next, because you could be faced with it at any point in time. Really quickly. So be aware of that. Be aware of what seeds you're sowing. Because the cost of the fruit could be really high. And if you don't pay the price for the fruit, then you're going to pay the price for it anyway. Yeah. If it's something you've got to pay, then you've got to pay. Yeah. It's not something you can plead away. If you've got to pay it, then you've got to pay it. Simple. If you determine that someone else had to pay for what they did, then you're determining you have to pay for what you did. You determine that. You sowed that seed. The fruit will come home to roost at some point. Now, I said you might get a chance to pay it while alive, and if you do, thank God for that, because there are so many people just won't get that chance. 3 million or so people, most of which won't get that chance. Yeah. I'm going to say that again. You know why? Because it's a big number. And if you are given the chance, then yeah, even though it's going to hurt, yeah, don't for 1 second think that paying for it later is going to hurt any less. If you pay for it any time while you're alive, then the price you were told to pay by God will be the minimum price you have to pay. That's the minimum price. If you decide 10 years later that you want to pay it now, the price is probably going to have doubled. So, if you're told, you have to pay 10 cows, 5 camels, etc., then in 10 years, and you say no, then in 10 years' time, it's going to be 20 cows and 10 camels. I said before, this is not a negotiation in the sense of what most negotiations are. You are given a certain amount of mercy and grace. When you say no, that mercy and grace gets taken away. You see, as I say, the real price for all these 3 million people, the real price for every single one of them, it doesn't matter what they did, the degree of what they did, the real price, even for one sin is more than the 10 richest people in the world have. Not only have now, but have ever have and will ever have available to them. Those 10 richest people. So how can you possibly pay that? That's why you've got to understand grace and mercy. You've been given that. Praise God. If you've been told a price that you can actually afford, even though it's going to be blinking tough, compared to what you could have been charged, yeah. Take the future important. See that as important. Because it is. Be careful with the seeds you sow. Sow the right seeds. If you're sowing the right seeds, then you're going to be bearing good fruit. Or at least you won't be bearing bad fruit. That's the thing. Because, put it this way, not every good seed is going to bear fruit. But look, there is, I think, probably about a 99.999999999% chance that every single bad seed is going to produce bad fruit, and you will have to face the consequences of that. The reason it's quite simple is that the devil couldn't give a about you in any way, shape, or form. And even though he may encourage you to behave in a bad way, he's going to be delighted when you pay a heavy price. It means you're his. Because you'll most likely blame God for it, won't you? You won't be blaming the devil, will you? You're not going to be blaming him. You're not going to be, making sure you don't do things his way in future. Oh, you won't be doing that, no. You should do, but you won't. And the devil knows that. So he's delighted if you have to pay the full price. Yeah. He's delighted if you don't pay while you can. He's delighted if you pay at the end of your life. It means he gets to have fun with you. Yeah, don't think the one who gave you the idea for sowing that seed is going to be on your side. No. If you've been making unwise decisions in the past, then it's about time you made a wise one. So there you go. There's the add-on for that one. For some reason, I keep on thinking back to certain places I was in the past. I mentioned previously about the Cotswold community, about that place that's been abandoned. There was another place. I'm not sure whether that place has been abandoned or not. I will find out. Oh, I don't know. Things that were sort of in the way of it. Yeah. Give me a second. There you go. That's the place. Now, is that place still going? It's still got a phone number. Place called the National Star Centre. I worked there a number of years ago. That was on my mind today. The question came to me: which place would I prefer to have? If I could have either of those places. Well, that looks different. That looks very different. They've done some work on that place. Yeah. Since I was there, they've done a lot of work on that place. Yeah, I think so. There's the main house there. That was a good place there. Yeah, I was there in God knows where, quite a few years ago now. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good place. It was indeed, yes. I don't know what's actually going on with the place now. Whether it's still going or not, or whether it's now shut. It had its own golf course. It's only a 9-hole. There's certainly a new building there. There's a great big wooden building there. That wasn't there when I was there. So I was there a long time ago, though. A very, 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 very long time ago. Yeah. All right, but as I say, it was an interesting time. It was indeed. Oh, of course. Well, there are photographs of it, but the photographs of it aren't exactly very good because they are pretty much. Oh, that's better. That's got actual photographs on it there. Yeah, I mean, we had great fun there at Leicester Science Centre. Great fun. It was a lovely place to work. Really, really, really was beautiful. It was a great place to work. Did wheelchair basketball, so yeah, quite often the staff would just get into a spare wheelchair. Yeah, one of the ones for basketball, and we would sort of take on the residents there, and that was fun. Aye. And on times you're not working, you used to be able to go and play golf and do all that sort of stuff. Aye. Yeah, well, so when I was there was a few people from, I think, Thailand. I think they were from. They lived in the main house there, and yeah, I didn't. I lived on another property there. There was a few of us that lived on another property, but I would go often to spend a few hours with these people from Thailand. Lovely people, really lovely people, fantastic people, and the students. All the students were disabled. They all had issues with disability. I was thinking about it earlier. The staff there, mm-hmm, very, very typical of any care home, really. You had some members of staff that were really good, some members of staff that weren't very good at all. That just weren't very caring. They lasted there because it was a cushy job, really. It was a good sort of job. I think it's changed because, by all accounts, a lot of the photos seem to be older disabled people. It wasn't when I was there. It was disabled teenagers when I was there. I don't know what it is now because it was a school. It's basically a college for disabled teenagers, and the staff were there to to help them, to take care of them. We have one lad who was quite a bit overweight, but then again, understandable. He was in a wheelchair. But yeah, it would have been fun for him, but it was quite fun for us when it was time to give him a wash because it would take four of us to lift him. And things like changing his sheets, if he was in bed, because one of us would have to dive underneath him, while the others lifted him, and that was precarious, to say the least. But again, a lovely, very, very lovely young man. Yeah, really lovely young man. I mean, generally speaking, I'd say the best members of staff there when I was there were the volunteers. Yeah, the ones from Thailand. There was a few others that volunteered there. I was a volunteer. But some of the staff members were very nice. But there were some, there were some where it just didn't, no. When you have conversations with them and they would say, when you're talking about because of course most of the students there were single. They weren't dating anyone because they had pretty severe disabilities and they were away at college. You would occasionally get people that were sort of like each other, but they didn't really have the ability to go out and do anything together, did they? So, yeah. But then you'd have members of staff that would say, "Oh, I could never take one of those." So, excuse me, you're supposed to care for these people. You should be the one who could see really the wonderfulness of these people rather than the disgustingness of the fact that they are disabled. Yeah. But as I say, that's quite common with regards to the care industry, really. You have some people that are lovely, other people that just aren't. Yeah. It is what it is. But it was a lovely place. It was a lovely place to work. It was a lovely place to. The reason why I suppose it was good is because most of the volunteers were around about the same sort of age. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. We had some fun together. We occasionally went for a drink together, even though I didn't really drink, never really have. So we played golf together. Yeah, but we'd mainly just sit in, well, especially you said Thailand. People from Thailand would just go and sit in there and just talk to them about life. I think it's still open by what I can see of it. It does seem to be still open, which is cool. As I say, it's a good place, really. Aye. They still have volunteers there, apparently. I was volunteering there because I started off volunteering at a place in Brixton, in London, and an old people's home there. And that was only a short-term one. And after that, I went to the Star Centre. Yeah. So, yeah. And it lasted for about a year. In a way, I would quite happily have continued there because it was a nice place. That wasn't what God wanted, clearly. That's cool. Yeah. Absolutely, that's cool. Well, Puppy is giving it some now, so there you go. I better get her in. It's just still award-winning education for people. 1 second. Age 16 to 25 with complex disabilities. So pretty much what it was then, yeah. Yeah. They may occasionally have people in that are older, judging by the photos. Well, it could just be because there's a photo with someone that's a lot older playing wheelchair basketball, but that could simply be a fact. It could be a member of staff. No, I don't know. But yeah, what I was going to say that I haven't said yet is that part of the reason in places like this that you can get staff members that are less caring. 1 second, I'll just get home. An awful lot of the residents were quite poorly. There's one girl there when I was there who had I can't remember what the disease was. It's where basically the muscles were just dying, and it would eventually mean that her heart would die. She was, I think, about 19. I think she'd have been. She's dead now. She had about 2 years left before her heart would have given up. During the summer holiday, I worked with. I did another bit of voluntary work. This time with I think it was a mother and father. I think it was where they had 2 boys, and the 2 boys had Batten's disease. And with the older one, the older one I think was probably about 12. The younger one was about 8. The younger one was just starting to get it, just starting to get the effects. The older one was already blind. And the older one had 3 years to live, 3 more years to live. So his younger brother would have seen everything, would have seen, him getting the disease, it starting, his brother going blind, his brother being less able to function to the point where his brother dying, and knowing that's going to happen to him very, very soon. So, yeah, if you care about the people, it can be an incredibly tough area to work. An incredibly tough area to work. Yeah, they say quite often about, doctors, shouldn't really care about their patients, because if they do, it can be really hard when they lose them. It's exactly the same in the care industry. Apart from in the care industry, you're not trained to heal people. You're simply trained to take care of them in whatever situation they are in. And in places like National Star Centre, you can have children there who are going to have limited life. It's bad enough when they have limited ability in life, which a lot. The lad I spoke about earlier, the larger lad, where it took 4 of us to change him and stuff. He had a very, very limited life with regards to what he could do in life. But imagine adding to that the fact that he might only live until he's 25. And you're working in that sort of environment. Oh. Longevity is difficult if you care for them. That's why quite often in places like that, the members of staff that stay there over a longer period of time don't care for the people. They do their job. Their job is caring or looking after. So they look after the people, but they don't really care about the people. And they're the ones who tend to last. Because when you care about the people and you have people dying, and so it's bad enough. The place I worked in Brixton was older people, old age pensioners. It was an OAP home. With those people, you're going to have people dying, but they've had a good life. They've lived. But the people in places like National Star Centre, the teenagers, they haven't lived yet. They're at the beginning of life, and they've already basically got a limited amount of time to live. So as a care assistant, you're basically you could be dealing with someone that could last as long as one of the residents in an OAP's place, but the OAPs at least have had a long life. So there you go. Right, there you go. You take care. God bless, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye. It's good to share that thing about the National Star Centre anyway. So it was a good place. Probably, hopefully still is. Let's say there's no judgment upon the staff there now because I don't know them. I don't imagine the staff that were there when I was there are still there. I think that's very unlikely. It's probably a completely different lot of staff there. And there will probably still be staff members there who aren't that caring towards, put it this way. If you look after the people, you are caring because you're doing your job. Your job as a care assistant, you're caring in that way. You know what I mean by caring? There's 2 different areas of care. There's looking after someone, and it's actually, valuing these people as human beings who are worth. So anyway, you take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.